Welcome Computer Applications 2 students. This is Lesson 7 in Word Processing, or Week 3 of Computer Apps 2, or your second semester of Computer Apps. And this week we're specifically focusing on tables in Google Docs. Now I will say I don't really use tables in Google Docs a whole lot. I would rather make something in a spreadsheet and then just copy and paste it over. I find it to be a lot more user-friendly in Sheets or in Excel, but we will work with tables this week. So we're just going to be doing inserting tables and then some design elements on the tables. Calculations in table, it really doesn't work very well in Google Docs. I've tried add-ons and haven't had much success, so we're just going to skip that. Much easier in Microsoft Word, but let's move forward. Here I am, just opened a new document. You can see, we'll just call it tables, and we are going to insert a table. And you can make it however many wide and tall you want it to be. We'll just choose a 5-column width here. So we've created a table. Now if we want to change some design elements, we can either view or not grid lines just by highlighting it and then coming over here to the okay, so say I have this one right here. I get to choose my grid line options, whether or not they're there, or there it is. I can say 0-point border and the grid line goes away. If I want to highlight the whole thing and go 0-point border, it all goes away, or I could make them really thick borders. You can even choose, dots or dashes if that's how you want your table to look. Merging cells. So if you highlight a couple of cells and then right-click, you get the option to merge them so that they become one. So now you can center that, text between the two. If you had a heading that, used multiple columns, that might make sense. You could also, let's see here, merge. Whoa, I just moved those 2 cells within the cell. That was kind of cool. So if you highlight them and click and drag, you can actually put 2 smaller ones within a bigger one. I didn't even know that. Learning something. Another choice is to, of course, right-click and merge far more cells. That could be useful at some point. Or, I guess, after you've merged them, you can click on it and say unmerge cells instead of just hitting undo. That's also an option. Changing your cell margins. If you right-click, you can go to Table Properties, so you can choose to pad it at a bigger level. I'm going to have to put something in here so that you can see how this changes. So right now our padding is pretty small, but if we go back to Table Properties and we increase this to, say, 0.5, it changes the outside to 0.5 each direction. So see how something got stuck in the very center? That's because I told it had to have 0.5 inches on each side. So we just reset that. Table Properties. You can left align all of the cells. You can center align them so they will look like, oh, that was the vertical. You can center align horizontally. You can go to Table Properties. You can vertical alignment. Right now it's in the top. You can put it in the middle, which then becomes obvious if you make it a bigger size. Also in your Table Properties, where did it go? You have a choice of the color of your border. You could change it all to green. You can change your cell backgrounds. You can have your dimensions locked in at a certain width and height. Those are all things you can do if you want to make it different. And if you wanted to move this table, we need to, of course, highlight it, and then let's click out of it. See if we can grab it. And we can cut the entire thing is probably the easiest way, and enter down and paste it elsewhere. Is the easiest way to move it. The drag arrow doesn't come up in Docs the same way as it does in Word. And if you wanted to add smart art or something, or text in a different direction, you have to actually use the drawing tool. So let me just give you an idea of what I mean. Say we want the word name in the first cell, but instead of having it be horizontal, we wanted it to use up less space, so we put it at an angle. So I'll say save and close, and now there it is at an angle. And I could copy, Control C, paste, 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 but then I'd have to come into each individual one in the drawing tool by double clicking on it and say what the next one should say, address. Double click there, come in and edit it, something like that. So it's not super handy. We could change the drawing here to be word art. We could call it the code. It didn't change. There it is. We'll change it, and we'll make it more fun and smaller. And you can even put word art in your headings, just like that. So this is your short little introduction to what you can do with a table in Google Docs, and hopefully this helps you on this week's assignment.